Hello and good evening. Excuse me. Welcome to another episode of Take Me Down a Rabbit Hole. We're on episode 59. I just want to check in with you and see how everybody was doing and possibly leave you with a word this evening. There's a lot going on, and I think I say that every week, but there's a lot going on, but I was thinking about what I should speak on tonight and what I should say. And I think I have to tell you all about freedom. We're in a time right now where the people who are in leadership over us are dead set on trying to make us believe that we no longer have free will, or in the future, we will no longer have free will. And by free will, I mean the ability to choose. And I actually looked up the word free, and it says voluntary, willing, spontaneous, and ready. So they no longer want us to engage in what they have for us willingly. It's not going to be voluntary if it's left up to them. So they have a lot of things coming down the turnpike for us. But I want you to know that if you are a servant of God, He still has plans for you. And He's still guiding us, even though we are entering into tribulation. Months ago, I told you all that I was battling this headache, and it came on all of a sudden around October. And even so much so that I thought, okay, I'm just going to take a break from the things that I'm doing. I'm always writing, researching, and working and, doing this and that. And I'm just going to take some time off, and then the headache's going to go away. And y'all, it never went away. It never went away. I don't speak on it most Sundays when I'm here with you all, but it never went away. And I've been in prayer every night because this headache wakes me up. I wake up with it. And even when I stand up, I'm just dizzy. And you know how we get. I don't know if you're like me, but as soon as I get a symptom here and there, I'm like Googling it, trying to see what the heck is going on. I've diagnosed myself with tumors and all kinds of things, right? And so not only have I been battling this headache, but I've also just been in a hole, I feel like, at work. And so again, I've been praying and praying and praying. And, the last week or so, every time I'm like, Lord, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to do? I keep having these singing dreams. Either I'm singing somewhere, I'm in a stadium, I'm at a karaoke place, I'm harmonizing with different celebrity. It's just been the weirdest thing. And I'm like, why do you keep talking about singing? Why do my dreams keep bringing me to this point? And I was so happy that I actually made that video the other day, because even though I make videos for the channel and I make videos to introduce you all to different topics, and we talk about this, we talk about that, we kind of learn, but they're also for me. There's some things when I'm researching for these videos that I didn't even know. And I'm getting into all this information. I'm like, oh, really? well, that's how it connects to this and it connects to that. And I knew about this already, but I didn't know it was this deep, So um, I didn't really know the science behind why we were to sing until I did the video. I had came across this meme that had talked about it, and I was like, man, the Bible is always talking about praising, always talking about Thanksgiving and singing and this and that. So anyways, I've made a long story already, but to make it short, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back. I need to get back to church. And I want to shout out to, I don't know if it was a young lady or a young man. I'm assuming that it was a young lady. And I've been talking to you all about my struggle with, why I left church and stuff like that. And I'm always reading my Bible, always doing Bible study by myself, but hadn't gone into the church building in a while, right? And I actually was invited by one of my childhood friends that I went to church with. He's now the associate pastor at my church, and they were having a youth gathering at a park, and he invited me out. And I actually sat and spoke with my pastor for a while. I actually had a conversation with him, a long conversation with him. And I decided that I wanted to get back into ministry because I deeply missed it. I was in the choir at one point. I was a praise dance teacher at one point. And again, I had been having all these singing dreams. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to just go get back into the choir. And so my mom, who's in the choir, I was like, how do I get into the choir? She was like, you just come to practice. I said, okay. So Thursday was my first day back in a very, very, very long time, y'all. When I tell you guys, it's probably been close to 10 years, I feel like, because the girls that I was teaching praise dance to, they're grown, they're married, they're having kids and all kinds of stuff. So it's been a while. And they were in high school when I started with them. And I say all that to say, I woke up this morning and I didn't have that headache. I got out of bed and I didn't feel dizzy. And some days when I think that the headache has been gone, it comes back. It comes back around like breakfast time, or that it kept coming back. But today I have been waiting and waiting for the headache to come back. And it hasn't showed itself all day. And usually when I take a nap and I get up, it's blaring even harder. And I took a nap today and I got up and the headache is not there. So I said all that to say, I tell y'all every week, stay prayed up. Stay prayed up. And God is still guiding us. He's still giving us instruction. He still has a plan for us, even though, the enemy has all these different plans for us. So I just wanted to start off with that. Because it was on my heart to tell you all. I feel like it was a praise report of some sort. So I hope you don't mind. I had to tell somebody. So today I wanted to kind of talk about some things that are coming down the turnpike, just so that and that you can be aware, because again, we still have the ability to choose right now. We still have the ability to make decisions, and if we know what the enemy is doing, we can go the other way. Greetings, Azim. It's always good to see you. It's always good to see you. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you all being here. And yeah, let's get into some topics today. So I posted on, so I ran across Klaus Schwab. I ran across a meme of him on Instagram, and I didn't know who this guy was. I just heard him talking about how the useless people, which I don't know how they're going to determine who's useless and who's not. I really don't know what that's supposed to mean, but how they're going to be avatars. And so I wasn't really sure what the word avatar meant. I knew, of course, the movies and things, excuse me, like that, but I did not know that there was an actual concept of an avatar. You guys watched the short at all? As, a Sanskrit word. It comes from the Hindu religion. And I started to think like, okay, so we've been talking about this AI for a very long time. And we've kind of come to the understanding that this isn't of God. These might be some type of demons that are empowering this system. And I don't think that we're far off from that idea. I do not think so. So let me show you this, because I was reading all into this Hinduism thing. And again, this is why I make sure that I'm abreast on other religions, just so you know. Okay, so this is here. So this is the word avatar. Okay, it's also found in Buddha. Other monotheistic religion that I really don't ever hear mentioned, but again, it signifies the material appearance or incarnation of a powerful deity. Now, if you understand Hinduism, you know that they have lots and lots of deities, right? But just take a look at some of their avatars. So this first one is Vishnu. It's supposed to be their preserver or sustainer aspect of God within Hinduism. And I know that people always kind of make fun of the Christian Trinity, but do you know that so many different religions have the concept of the Trinity? It's like with the Christian God, you have the Father, who is, he's the spirit, and then you have the Word of God, who ends up flesh, who is Jesus, and then you have the Holy Spirit, which obviously is just to me it's just not just, I shouldn't say that as if taken away from the being of it, but it's telling you exactly what type of spirit it is. It's a Holy Spirit. And I remember hearing Orlando. He's a Christian apologetic. If you guys ever watch the Speaker's Corner, I think I might have spoken a time or two about it. But he's always debating Muslims and things like that. But he made a really good point. Like, are you separate from your word? Like when you speak, are you separate? Is that a different being from you? Is that a different, and your spirit, each one of us has a spirit. Are you a different person than your spirit? Does your word and your spirit make you three people? No, it doesn't. And so anyways, he makes a really good point for that. But anyways, so you have Vishnu, and Vishnu's whole concept. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dharma. If you've seen the Hinduism video, you kind of get an understanding of it. But This is Dharma. It's a key concept in various Indian religions. The term Dharma does not have a single or clear translation. It conveys a multifaceted idea, which I don't know how that helps anybody, but it ends up being how you act in a order and customs. I don't know if we would deem that like morality, but it includes duties, rights, laws, and conduct. So that's what Vishnu is over. So again, sounds like a great concept, right? But then you have different other gods in, I don't know why they didn't just show me, but Shiva, if I'm not mistaken, is like the god of destruction. You have the Devi avatar, which punishes the wicked and defends the righteousness. Okay, so you've got all this good stuff. Well, supposedly good stuff. But one of the main avatars that is spoken of is this Indra, associated with the sky, lightning, weather, thunder, storms, rain, river flows, and war. So my point is, the idea of these avatars is to bring down a supernatural being, and they can compose it in what we know now to be like different clones, and they can bring them into their own bodies. And even, okay, so I feel like I'm going around in a circle. Let me show y'all this real quick so that it makes sense to you and me, because I feel like, okay, I said that just now. But this guy was talking unfortunately, I do not think that he was a believer, but he's going to say something here. He's going to talk about time travel, but I want you to hear something else that he's going to talk about, if it plays for me. Oh, please don't do this. Sorry, I'll just a second. We're going to get this show on the road. Called supernatural beings. Because again, you have these different religions who feel like they can be invoked with different deities. And although we feel like God comes into us, we serve a good God. We serve a perfect, a holy being, but their beings that they worship are not, they're not always
these sacraments that they would do where they drink blood and then they go into an altered state, and they use that altered state to do very interesting stuff like out-of-body travel, where they can, what they call time travel, they'll actually go backwards in time. They can do this psychically, occupy like a bum who's drunk and passed out in a haystack, get him to wake up and go kill somebody, and then the whole timeline you're on changes, and the only person who remembers the old timeline is the one who jumped into the bum. Everybody else on Earth is of the Illuminati. So most people don't talk about that because it's so disturbing.
So this is like remote viewing, but time travel remote viewing, where you actually take
someone else's body and use it to do things in the past, and you're fully conscious in that body while you're doing it.
Now, not only did David Wilcox talk about this, Because again, we know that these elites, we know that this is what they do. We know that they're all into blood sacrifices. We know that they're all into drinking blood and things like that. But this is now being connected to these avatars, where this guy, this Klaus Schwab, said that he's going to make it to where the useless people of society are going to be made into avatars. And we've seen this with the whole MK Ultra thing, where they can literally, program you to be an assassin, and even to the point where you assassinate other people and then you'll kill yourself. So they can do this. And this is why they need all this blood to be shed. This is why they need all this blood to be shed. Because is take these spirits, these beings, and create avatars out of people. And I didn't even know that Orlando Brown had spoken about this as well. And he's as crazy as the best of bug. He might not even be crazy, but he sure acts crazy. I don't know why it's not playing off jump. It doesn't want me to show y'all. That's what it is. But I'm going to show y'all anyway.
Is when you do sell your soul, you are allowed to live forever. And these people that are called youngins, like I was, had no idea that these people still live. They will prey, haunt, kidnap, anything to stay on top. This is their world. They have nothing but time, is what they believe. The art of exchanging spirits, trading spirits.
And then when they do die, they can move their consciousness from their decaying body, from their dead body, to a new clone of themselves. They can basically they can harness and control and transport the this. And then this is why, like, in all the human myths about humans are being born and dying generation after generation, these Nordics these gods always look the same, because first of all their lifespans are thousands of our years per body. So yeah, it's exactly as you describe it. It was done a very long time ago, and these are the people who manage us
in this industry. What you must understand is,
So the WEF, so first of all, he's now a disgraced founder. He's the founder of the WEF, but they pulled him from his position because he was sexually assaulting people, as if we should be surprised about that. But anyways, he was promising the people in the room that they would have, all these years to live. Like he was promising, like, yeah, you're going to get 50 more years on top of this, and we can just inject you with, I don't know what type of substance that he's going to inject them with. And then you'll be able to live some more. So this is these people's concept. They really think that, number one, they're going to have immortality. And they really believe that, I'm not going to say it as though it's not true, because I don't know. I don't know about switching bodies and doing things like that. But this is what they do. This is what they do. And the guy even said that he got this concept, this technology, these ideas from the Hindu avatars. And I'm not going to lie, like, these people really do look like these old pictures. They really do look like these old pictures. But you know, people like David Wilcox, he saw these things, and not man. They said that body count for the scientists that have been offed is like up to 16, and that even the people from the what's that show? Alien, what is it? Astronaut Aliens. I don't know why I can't think of that show right now, but anyways, they say most of them have passed away recently as well. And remember the chick that did the Fall of Cabal? Have y'all seen that? Oh man, they had to take that right off YouTube. That was pretty much the whole breaking of the, you know, the gates of pizza. She's the one that did that whole series on that. She got found dead the other day too. If you haven't seen that series, she's on BitChute, or her videos are on BitChute. He says, so my take on the NPC and avatars are cloned people, also known as the Cabbage Patch Kids. There's a video out there that shows who has celebrities adopted them, to include Michael Jackson. Wait, the celebrities were adopting the Cabbage Patch Kids? Oh, so, okay. So what I know about the Cabbage Patch thing, and I really want to do a video on this. I need to really do a dive, but apparently that they were surrogate farms. Literally to the point where they would make these people have these children, and even have them in a circus type atmosphere where people can go and gaze at them and adopt them. It was, yeah, something really weird about that. I hadn't heard about Michael Jackson doing it. I think I heard of people like Beyonce doing it. But that's crazy. But this guy said he doesn't want us to have any free. I'm going to show you this other video. Let me show you a couple videos. And I really hate that these people are just walking around. They just living life.
About half of the jobs in the United States, a highly developed country, is threatened today to be replaced in the next 10, 15 years by artificial intelligence, robotization, three-dimensional printing, and so on. And that's, for example, also certainly one of the reasons for the success of presidential candidate Trump in the United States, because so many people are afraid to lose the job. The forum is becoming now, if I look at the future and our role in the global governance system, we will concentrate much more on systems design for the future, shaping the future of digital industries, shaping the future of the financial monetary system, shaping the future of health system, shaping the future of socially inclusive countries, shaping the future of education, and I could go on and on. When I look out of my window in our headquarters in Geneva, I can look across the lake and I see the World Health Organization. We even have our own team developed about half of the jobs.
And again, we see that happening every day. There are so many jobs that have laid people off so that they can put AI and robots in place. And the crazy thing is that these robots, hold on, I know I got a video of a robot. These robots are not even, I think it's almost like they have their own mind, or they're being taught this. Let me find that video real quick. Let me show you this picture. I mean, this video, this, of this robot. I'm sorry. This is all topics that I gotta go over. Come on. Oh, there you go. Look.
Right now, it's cute. Little Tyler robot throwing a temper tantrum. 20 years from now, I did not murder him. You know what I'm saying? Robot's not supposed to feel emotions, fam. Why he getting upset? Y'all ha he in until you. All right, don't ask me to come say today.
Right, he about to come clunk her on the head, or him or her. They had to come snatch it back. Why would it? Why? Again, are they programming these robots to do this, to react this way, or are they calling down these doggone spirits to enter in these robots, the Indra, the god of war, to handle business? Listen. So somebody asked me about the difference between the Project 2025 and Agenda 2030. Okay, so I'm just going to discuss this just a little bit so that you can see the difference. So this is Project 2025. So pretty much what they claim that they're going to be doing is restructuring the federal government. However, and I ain't gonna lie, look, when you just look at the surface of things, it sounds good. But then when you start getting into the Agenda 2030 and you kind of see what they're doing coming down the pipeline, you see how it's almost a bait and switch. So first things first, they're going to be, again, restructuring the federal agencies, including reducing the power of certain departments, dismantling parts of the administrative state, and revising agency roles to align with conservative priorities. This could include actions like downsizing or even dismantling agencies such as the Department of Justice or the Department of Education. Sounds good, but guess what? In order for them to even come to a one world government, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to downsize, or they're going to have to, form a single file line is all I can think of. That's all I can think of. So their estimated time is doing this is 1 or 2 years. Then they have social reforms. This agenda includes social policy changes such as restricting abortion access, reversing federal recognition of same-sex marriage, and ending diversity, equity, and inclusion. Again, sounds good, but they haven't. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but nobody gives a doggone about this. Like, they really have been stepping over the boundaries of this whole thing. I still see men playing in women's sports. I still see them trying to enter in the bathrooms and all kinds of stuff. So the people that are against quote unquote conservative values, they're not listening to any of this stuff. They're still fighting for abortion. We see that. Economic policies, they want to implement conservative economic reforms, including tax cuts, reducing federal spending, privatizing certain government services, such as parts of the National Weather Service and Transportation Security Administration. Okay. I don't really know. I mean, I really don't know why those would be targeted other than, I mean, it might not be anything nefarious, right? It might not be anything nefarious, but if they're amping up HARP and, even if they're not, people need to know when these tornadoes are coming, when these flash floods are coming. But okay, so six months to a few years on that. Immigration enforcement, we've kind of already seen that coming into play. Environmental deregulation, reduce federal oversight, support fossil fuel industries, and consider dismantling the agencies like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Election rule revisions. I did, but I'm hearing that they are going to really be able to gerrymander. If I'm not mistaken, they're really going to be able to gerrymander a lot of these states. If you're not familiar with gerrymandering, it's pretty much just because every location, every state is kind of broken down into voting areas. And so they're going to be able to move those lines. So more people of a certain area will be able to vote. And they do that so that, let's just say, I'm just going to pick Chicago. One area of Chicago on the right, on the west side of Chicago, votes Republican, and the east side votes Democratic. They can move the lines so that, let's say they move it more into the east side. So now you've got more Democrats that are able to vote against the Republican side. Does that make sense? So a lot of people are getting up in arms about that. It's just a way to rig the elections, I guess, in their eyes. Okay, so that's 1 to 3 years. Then you have NATO, WHO, and the UN. So Project 2025 includes recalibration of the U.S. involvement with major international unions such as NATO, the World Health Organization, and the United Nations. Supposedly, okay, I don't know how we're going to be able to. Let me not say that. Let's hope they're right. Judicial appointments, legal reforms, appoint judges who align with originalist interpretations of the Constitution, influencing judiciary's direction for decades, which is, okay. Healthcare policy overhaul, repealing the Affordable Care Act and promoting market-based healthcare solutions, which is good. People will be able to choose their own healthcare providers and hopefully get those costs down. Education system transformation, promote school choice initiatives, and reduce federal involvement in education, which is a really good thing because I don't know if they're going to really adhere to this because they're really coming after homeschoolers because people are getting sick and tired of the public school system. They're like, their kids cannot read and write. The violence that's going on, there's so much violence going on. Have you seen this thing? There's so much violence going on in these schools. They're even slapping the teachers. I've seen so many videos of teachers getting pimp slapped in front of the whole class and everybody just oohing on and laughing. And, the teachers are trying to hold their ground. Bless them. It's grandmas getting smacked. And unfortunately, the only people that can really stand up to these people are the men teachers. And a lot of them are leaving as well. But they're the only ones really strong enough to subdue these miscreants. Goodness, they can't even read or write. Technology and data privacy, implementing policies balancing innovation with data privacy and possibly reduce regulations affecting tech companies. I think that's a lie. National defense and national security. Of course, they want to increase defense budgets because we need war, right? We need it. We need the blood. Regulatory reform and deregulation. Reduce the regulatory burden on businesses to stimulate economic growth, which would be awesome if you weren't replacing all the jobs with AI. Social Security and Medicare reforms. But I did see something about them, raising the eligibility ages or modifying benefits. It's already high enough, right? I think you have to be at least 65 to even qualify for Social Security. So what you want grandmas and grandpas to work until they're how old? And I'm off if they want to work because I know a lot of older people don't want to go home and sit down because, their brain starts to deteriorate faster and, they end up passing away faster. So they want to be up and moving and working. And I'm all for it. But in order to receive benefits, I'm not. Let these people have their benefits. So anyways, that's pretty much what 2025 is doing. Now, the difference between that and the 2030 agenda is that the 2030 agenda is the UN, so the United Nations. I think there's over like 108 countries now that are a part of them. And so these are the people that meet every year in Geneva and decide on how they're going to make the world become one, pretty much, if you want to just not sugarcoat it. So they say no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. Now, we know what they're doing with this whole zero hunger. They're making more and more food out of things that are not food. You know, they're shutting down farms of people that are really, really planting real crops and stuff like that. They're shutting all that down, and they're making things with bugs in it, things with freaking human meat and all kinds of foolishness. Ensure healthy lives and well-being for all ages. They want to do inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. I think we already have that. I don't know really. I think what they're going to try to do with this is just make sure that everybody's indoctrinated in the way that they want everybody to be indoctrinated. Pretty much what they've done in the US, they want to do it worldwide. Because we know places like the Asian countries and stuff like that, like they don't play around with education. They make sure that them kids know that reading, writing, and arithmetic. So I don't really know. I don't know how they're going to do that. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. I don't know why they keep trying to single out. And it's that all women for me right now. And the reason being is because they keep trying to include trans women, quote unquote, as women. And it ends up not being equality for women and girls. We end up getting pushed out the way. We end up getting stomped on, literally. So whatever. And then they have clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy. We know this is a lie. This is a lie because they are killing off all the people. No, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing because they're getting killed off. I'm laughing because it's foolishness. It's just plain evil. They're killing off all the people that know how to produce this clean energy. But I guess because it would be free for us, so they want to make sure. Yeah, they want to make sure they keep it affordable, quote unquote. Decent work and economic growth in this industry, innovation, infrastructure, reduce inequalities. Yeah. Sustainable cities and communities, which we've already heard of. These are the smart cities that they want to come up with. Responsible consumption and production. So anyways, climate action, life below water. What? Do they mean fish? Or are they talking about us? I'll come back to that another day. Life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Okay, so we see what they're trying to do, supposedly. But again, it's really not going to be a way to when they say peace and safety, it means sudden destruction is all I can think of. Yeah, definitely the Illuminati at work. Definitely. Jelani is about to check out, y'all. What you mean by that? Tell us more. Oh, he's 80. He's 80. Food. We definitely need to grow food. I just don't think we'll be. I don't know why it won't let me click on this comment. I just think we would have to do it secretly, to be honest, because these big old farms, so many of them are getting shut down. And they will kill your cattle and your chickens and all kinds of stuff just so they can be able to, feed us this foolishness. Like every time I look on a box, I'm like, you think something is real food, and you look in the fine print and it says, bioengineered. I'm like, oh goodness, we don't have anything to eat. Oh, I appreciate you. Glad you're back. We'll definitely replay this live tomorrow at work. Yes, thank you so much. I know I had to work late last week, so I couldn't hop on here, but I appreciate you. I hate missing. But I gotta get this this job up and going. Yep, Bohemian Grove. Yeah. Yeah, they like to meet at Bohemian Grove and salute the Moloch owl. Absolutely. Soylent Green movie, yeah. Absolutely. I don't know if I don't even think I've never seen the movie. I'm not going to watch the movie. I know that my stomach will turn. It's nasty just even thinking about it. It's nasty even thinking about it. And it's crazy because this is stuff that they like to consume. You know what I mean? And I've been really trying to, I'm probably going to do like a short video on it, but I'm really just going over the verses that say we should not be eating the blood. We should not be eating the blood. The life is in the blood. And I think a lot of it, even though it doesn't say it, I think what these Satanists and these Luciferians are doing when they're eating the blood, and how they say that they go into an altered state and they're able to get possessed and switch bodies and all that kind of stuff. What if it's just not laid out in the scripture, but what if that's what people are doing? What if you really do take on, somebody else's life force when you eat the blood? They even said that these people, like, you'll start getting their memories. Like you won't even have your own, but you drink somebody else's blood and you start getting their memories. That's some sick stuff. Very sick stuff. Luciferians. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and I'm glad you said Luciferians. Did y'all see this? Hold on. Where is this at? Hold on. I know I see. Here it go. Let me make sure that's on the screen. Give me a second. Okay. So they are coming out. I don't know if this is a movie or a TV show, but the real Rothschild's family, but they're all bliggity black. This is what the caption says. Meet the real Rothschild's family. Make no mistake, these fallen Anunnaki still active till this day, and they do not look like white actors and that you see portrayed via the media. They are the unseen hand. It will be on YouTube when I do this live. Clips of it will be posted here. Listen, it's not about color. It's absolutely not about color. But what is this about? What is this about? And why is this being claimed? Like they're claiming it as if it's proud. Look at this person's comment. It says, sounds like there was some dynasty swapping going on, because who are those supposed Rothschilds here currently? Can't wait to tune in. All 13 families, the top 200 are all melanated. And I'm not even, what do I want to say? We know that Cush birthed Nimrod, and Nimrod was the founder of Babylon. So I absolutely get the tie there. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. So, but from what I understand about the Rothschilds is that they are Luciferian, number one, and that they literally sit and talk with, and just like the Rockefellers, they sit and talk with the devil. And so now you have these, I don't know who is the creator of this, but they're wearing it as though it's a badge of honor. And again, it doesn't matter what the color is. These people could be yellow, and I'll be like, why are you wearing it as if it's a badge of honor? But to these people, they're seeing it. Maybe they know something I don't. Because again, Nimrod and Babylon, I can totally understand it. I might just tune in just so I can see what this is about. And I will bring y'all back the info. Talking about, I always question the Black Pope analogy they used with the gray Pope. See, these people think it's about being melanated, this whole gray Pope and Black Pope and red Pope. That's what they think this stuff is. And they always bring it back to this. They always bring it back to the melanated have power and their gods and things like that. This is crazy. But they're calling it destiny swapping. Oh, somebody said it's giving skeleton key. And what's so funny is when I was thinking about how they were talking about how they swap bodies and things like that, I was definitely thinking about the skeleton key. Have y'all seen that movie? It's a really good movie, to be honest, but that's exactly what the movie is about. That's exactly what the movie is about. A Black family of witches, sorcerers, and they were able to, when they got old, they would just find a new body and put their spirit into that new body and then live that way. And when they got old, they would get another body, get another body, get another body. This is crazy. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep an eye on this and see what they're gonna say. But just why are we trying to claim this? He said, that's right. That's why we are in this mess now. Yeah, we really are. We really are. But this is the problem. People don't think that, and I don't know where I said this out or if I said it out loud, but this is the reason why it matters what our leaders believe. Because when the children of Israel were complaining, oh, we want a king over us, we want a king. When the Lord had gave them judges, the Lord had gave them judges who believed in God, who would be able to judge righteously between this person and that. They didn't want that. They wanted a king. And he was, remember, I've done a little study on this when he was like, okay. He's going to enslave you. He's going to, make you work. He's going to, all the things that we're seeing now is all because we didn't want, not we, but, our ancestors didn't want righteous people over them. They didn't care who led them. They didn't care what those people believed in. They just wanted what they saw the other cities around them have. And now we're in this mess. And people be like, keep your religion at the house. Okay, if we keep you want us to keep our 10 commandments at the house, that's what you want to do? Because where else do you see thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not, where else do you see that? No other religion is talking about that. No other religion tells you to not do that. And everybody want to praise, not everybody, but they're always lifting up African spirituality. And I remember somebody in the comments the other day was asking, like, okay, well, like, what's this whole thing about? Oh no, he asked, what did our people, what did Black people worship before Christianity came about? Yeah, they absolutely worshipped the deities in African spirituality. But what they don't tell you is about the possession. They don't tell you about the human sacrifices. They don't tell you about the divination. They make it seem like it's a good thing. Yeah, you think it's a good thing for your body to be possessed by different spirits? You think it's normal to be able to get up out of your body and go walk around? And there be a risk of another spirit coming in to get into your body while you're gone? You think that's a normal thing to you? And they make it seem like, oh, it's just herbs. And yeah, okay, but it's what? If it was just herbs and curing disease and stuff, okay, then let it be that. But y'all got spells and you're putting hexes on people. And you're chanting and doing all this stuff so that people follow what you want them to do. That's outside of the realm of curing and health. Yeah, they worship, yeah, disembodied spirits. And again, they don't care where the spirits come from. They don't care where the spirits come from. John, Rick, Sally, everybody can, like, what are we doing? And again, they try to make it seem like, oh, it's just like Christianity, though. Not if the spirit that you're worshiping can do evil. No, it's not the same. Because nowhere in the Bible are we told to put hexes on people and to put love spells on people and to do none of that other stuff. Like, why are y'all trying to make it seem like not y'all? Not y'all. And the human sacrifices by the dozens, not even the dozens, by the hundreds, by the thousands. What part of a good witch is that? What? Yeah, it definitely is. That is absolutely the devil, because he's here to steal, kill, and destroy. There is a price to pay for that. The wages of sin or death. We are not supposed to be taking certain herbs. And not using them how they're being used. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so, although, again, I can admit, or even they can admit, yes, they worshiped other deities. They worshiped other deities. But there's absolute, so we got to get off of this thing where someone forces you to believe a thing. No one can force you to believe. Like, your beliefs are in your mind, your beliefs are in your heart. And so although somebody can put you to death, they still can't make you believe anything. And when people stopped worshiping spiritualism and stuff like that, they willingly, and again, I didn't, this is something, again, I did not know, just outright, or fully, I should say, until I was doing the research for it. I did not know that they had these invisible churches and these hush harbors and things like that. They were worshiping God on their own in secret. Because they said because they said what the white man is teaching us is not what we believe. It's not what we read. We believe that from the scriptures, it said we all supposed to be free. And they sung praises. And guess what? They got free. So, yeah, exactly. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Exactly. And, what's also interesting is that they always make it seem as though, like, they always make it seem as though witches were being put to death. They were innocent, pretty much. But what people knew, and I'm not advocating for witches be put to death, right? That was Old Testament, whatever. But what people don't understand, and even when I did the African spirituality video, what did it say? It said that these people, yeah, they knew how to cure health diseases, but they also knew how to poison folk too. And so they had to put laws in place so that these root workers couldn't practice what they were practicing because they were afraid of getting poisoned. So you got that aspect of it. Then you got the aspect of these people were supposedly shapeshifters. I've read, again, I told y'all plenty of times, I used to be really into ghost stories and stuff when I was younger. And so I was able to read different, I guess you could say, testimonies of people, like, they think it's a cat, lurking and coming into their house or whatever. And it's really a witch. So I would be, based on the testimony that these people give, I would be weary of letting a witch into my presence as well. Let me show you this. I just thought of something else. Let me show y'all this. This was wild. And just so you know, witches do come to church, y'all. Is this on the screen? Let me put this on the screen. Witches come to church, y'all. Let me show y'all this.
Touch me.
Honey, we don't need to do the witchcraft. Stop playing with this stuff. It is dark. It is demonic as hell. But here it is. Witch came to my church. Bring her here. Come here. Honey, come here. It's okay. Honey, come here. Honey, come here. She was ousted. What do you need God to do in your life?
What do you need God to do?
I'm asking you.
The Father has did what he needs to do in my life, and he continue to work. So what do you need him to do?
Honey, listen.
What's your prayer for me?
My prayer for you is that the Lord would break the spirit of witchcraft off of your life. There's a spirit. Listen. I don't play with my anointing.
I don't play with my anointing.
No. No, you came. Now, I don't want to point figures here, but let me just say something. I'm going to get in trouble for this, but most all those people around this witch, most all of them have left our church now. Don't think this witch came into this building just to be cute. No, this thing works. Witches deliberately attend churches to scatter the church. And my prayer is that whatever spell possessed these people would be broken off of them in the name of Jesus. And my heart cries for them to return. I have seen this thing so many times. I've been in ministry over 20 years. I know when a witch comes into a room. Don't play with this.
Watch this, y'all.
If you want freedom, God will set you free. So if you came here for freedom, lift your hands. If not, you can put your hands down. Stretch those fingers out so I can see.
Look at her.
See what she's doing, crossing her fingers? We don't need to do the crossing. Honey, we don't need to do the witchcraft. I told people, anybody who comes here with witchcraft, we're going to carry their body out of this building. So if you want to play that game, be warned. She said, I would like to leave.
Yeah.
Honey, we don't need to do the witchcraft. Stop playing with this stuff. It is.
Y'all. So I said that to say, these witches will attend church. And have you ever noticed when you hear, especially the witches, like the ex witches and their testimonies and stuff like that, they never, even though they claim that there's good witches and bad witches and white witches and black witches, they never talk about being sent on assignment to do good. Have you ever noticed that? Every witch that I've ever heard talk about their assignments that were given to them, they were, again, like he said, they are there to scatter the church. They're there to cause accidents. They're able to, again, poison people. They're never there to do good. Some of them are sent into hospitals and stuff like that to kill babies. Never, ever have I heard that they're going and feeding the homeless or nothing like that. Why is that? If you tell us that there are good and bad witches, that there are white witches, where are they at? And why are they never sent to do anything good? And what they think is good is again, getting people to get on their agenda. The whole point of witchcraft is to make people do what you want them to do. He said, finally caught another live. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. Definitely good to see you. He said, be afraid of the one who can take your soul, not your body. Yeah, exactly. And take it right on down to jail. There's a movie called The Shift on Angel Network. It's fantastic. Okay. I'll have to on the Angel Network. I've actually never heard of that. I've never heard of the Angel. I don't watch cable like that. So if it's on cable, I have to try to find it another way. You said Serpent in the Rainbow. I've heard of that, but I can't think right now what that is. Hold on, The Serpent and the Rainbow. I can't type today. It sounds familiar, but an anthropologist goes to Haiti to research a drug that makes someone appear dead by suspending all vital signs. Why would they do that? Ethnobotanist Wade Davis, who investigates the story of a Haitian man who allegedly turned into a zombie. The film follows Dennis Allen, anthropologist who travels to Haiti to find the zombie drug and faces a voodoo cult leader, who wants to steal. Hold on. Oh, man. You know how they have like a little snippet, but you really can't find it. Okay, I'll have to read up on that. Bill Pullman. No, I hadn't seen that or heard that. Ugh, it looks crazy. Oh, and a zombie is from Haitian Creole. Oh, the Kikongo. Okay, we talked about that in the spiritual African spirituality video. It's a legendary undead being created through a reanimation of a cadaver or corporeal manifestation of the revenant type. The term comes from Haitian folklore, in which a zombie is a dead body reanimated through magic, by a Bokor sorcerer. And that's a voodoo priest or priestess for hire who is said to serve the Iwa with both hands, practicing for both good and evil. Okay, here we go again. Here we go again. This is interesting. I've never looked up what a zombie is, y'all. I've never looked up what a zombie is. Their practice includes the creation of zombies and talisman that houses spirits. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. My goodness. The Bokors normally work with Iwas. Yeah, we knew that. They're similar to root workers of voodoo and Louisiana voodoo. That's crazy. But what is the reason? What would be the reason to even create one? You know what I mean? Like what do you do with them from that point? Like, why would I want to just hang around? See, now I got questions. Because what is the reason? Oh, wait. The Oxford Dictionary derives from the word French and French Creole language, in turn, ultimately from Kimbundu, ghost spirit who torments the living. Yeah, like, why am I? So again, we're back to y'all ain't never, not y'all ain't never doing nothing good. So you are using magic to reanimate corpses so that they can torment the living people? Why? Like, why are you so opposed to it? You're being indoctrinated. Yeah, I'm trying to be indoctrinated into righteousness, not into this foolishness right here. To that, because now I'm down a rabbit hole. Now I'm down a zombie rabbit hole because the serpent in the rainbow. Thank you, Azim, for that. Because I'm really I have to read more now because I need an understanding of why we're even doing this. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. It even includes, y'all, I'm back on this. I had to come back. Okay, so it even includes an incorporeal type of zombie, the zombie astral, which is part of the human soul. A Bokor can capture a zombie astral to enhance his spiritual power. A zombie astral can also be sealed inside a specially decorated bottle by a Bokor and sold to a client to bring luck, healing, or business success. excuse me, it is believed that God eventually will reclaim the zombie's soul, so the zombie is a temporary spiritual entity. You know, the ex-sorcerer, Erica I know her name. I don't know why it's not coming to me right this second. But anyway, she talks about how her soul got trapped in a bottle. And that's how she ended up serving the devil for 18 years. This is crazy. This is craziness. Like, why would you want to dabble in something that will get your soul trapped in a bottle? Why would you want to do that? It's just, to me, it's just like mobsters to me. I'm always thinking, what in the heck makes you want to be a mobster? You can't even have your own mind. You got to do this and that, or they will take you out of here. Why? I just can't even think of being in a profession where that is the life. Like, I'm always having to look over my shoulder and stuff like that. Why would you even dabble in something where this can happen? I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And guess what? The only way Erica said the only way that she was able to break out of that is because she had family praying for her. Can you imagine being around nothing but unbelievers and your behind is trapped in a bottle and there's nobody to pray for you? You got me bent. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't think so. Nope. You said it's on Amazon Prime. Okay, I might have to check it out, but goodness. You said, hello, Freddie B. What's going on, Cam? How are you doing? You said money. I don't know, but couldn't be me. Yeah, this is craziness. But this is what we're dealing with. This is what, no, not we. This is what people are dealing with. This is what they're dappling in. And they want you to think you're crazy and you're the one indoctrinated because you don't want to mess around and get trapped in a bottle. Society is doomed. It's, again, it is. I would say the world is definitely doomed. The world is doomed. Thank goodness we have freedom. Thank goodness for that. Even though Klaus Schwab doesn't want us to have free will in the future. He wants to take it all away from us, and so do his cohorts. But guess what? We can be free. They said by 2027, all the cars have to have a kill switch. And I think we talked about this briefly, but there's some lawmakers that are really fighting this. They got common sense. Because again, this AI technology is supposed to be able to detect when you are incompetent to drive. You make too many swerves, trying to miss a squirrel or whatever, your car gets shut off. And they're like, how is it? So me and my mom were on the way to church today, and our roads here are so bad. They're just so bad, and they rework them and reline them, but you still can see the old lines and things like that. And so anyways, she wasn't going over the line, but the car thought she was going over the line. And you know what the car did? It swerved to get back into the lane. And my mom had to correct it because she knew that she wasn't going over the line. And I was looking like, nah, Mom, that's not it. That is not it. Because it can't see what you can see. And although I get it to where, you know, people fall asleep on the road or what have you, and it keeps them from hitting the rail and all that kind of stuff, I get it. But if you're a coherent driver and you mess around and, you know, pump the brakes and again, trying to dodge something on the road or a car or whatever, and it thinks that you messed up and it just shuts your car off, I just can't imagine how many accidents that's going to cause, especially if you're on the highway. You said most people don't know cars have SIM cards and you can request it to be taken out. All your data is taken and sold. Yep, sold to third parties like your car insurance. Most people don't read the vehicle private policy. Yeah, they were definitely talking about that too, and how the boom for old cars is definitely gonna go up. Definitely gonna go up. And I think they're going to always want, you know, have surveillance in there with you as well. Don't nobody want that. Because we know they're not going to have surveillance on them. Well, never mind. There's nobody to punish them. You said the devil always come back to collect. Yeah, that's another thing that these people fail to understand. He gave them so much time. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard that they know how much time they're given. Like it's in their contract when they sign it. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you 30 years to be famous. And then after that, you're up out of here. I can't imagine being that. I hate to say it because I know people be down and out, you know, whatever. So where they would sign that up. I mean, I ain't talking about just being down and out. I'm talking about down and out to the point where you would sign something like that. Yeah, just give me 30 years and I'm good to go. I don't think so. Because guess what? They always, after you get to the end of that 30 years, you're like, man, I want to do some more stuff. And then, nope, you don't have no more time. And speaking of that, like this one lady was commenting, she was talking about all the femicide that's happening, you know, all the women being killed, and absolutely horrifying. It's horrifying when anybody gets killed. Well, not anybody, because like if you're a serial killer or whatever, I don't really care about that. But I shouldn't say I don't care. That's not nice. We want everybody to repent and not be murderous. But anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. She was talking about the femicide, and I'm like, well, y'all have killed so many babies. And you think that there's no judgment on you? You really think that there's no judgment on you? See, they think that the devil is on their side. Like that's the problem. They think that the devil is on their side. They can do whatever they want to. They can do all his bidding. They're going to get all the riches and the glory, not knowing that the devil is only here to steal, kill, and destroy. And why do they not know that? Because they think the Bible is a fairy tale, in the words of Lil Wayne. So they steady play all day long, every day, playing with the word, thinking that there's no consequences. I just can't imagine what these so-called leaders are gonna, the judgment that's coming on them for all this evil they brought about. And I often wondered, have y'all read Dante's Inferno? And he's going through all the levels of hell. Like, how do you know? How do you know what the levels of hell are? And if you do know, you should be warning your people what it's like. Hey, sister, long time. Yay. Hey, how are you? I hope all is well. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, Dante's Inferno, again, is one of those things that I had to read in school. You know, why am I reading about this? Why am I reading about the 7 levels of hell in school and having to write papers on it? This foolishness. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was something that everybody had to read. So I'm just gonna kind of go through. If y'all have never read it, it's I'm not gonna say it's weird, but it's just one of those books. So, anyways, Dante is, I don't know how he got there. I really don't remember his reason for being in hell, but he pretty much explores the themes of sin, redemption, and the human condition. And then he talks about how the levels of hell are like these circles. And so depending on what your sin was in life is pretty much the sin that you had to stay in when you got to hell. So in circle 1 was called limbo. It was the home for virtuous non-Christians and unbaptized souls. Okay, then you had the circle number 2, which was lust. And it was punishment for the lustful, swept by violent winds. If I'm not mistaken, on that level, they were in like this, they were just in this tornado and they were just spinning around and around and around. If I'm not mistaken, it was so long ago when I had to read it. Then the circle number 3 was gluttony, and the souls endure icy rain and slush for their access. Circle 4 was greed. The greedy fight over money and possessions. Okay. Then you had circle 5, which was anger. It's the wrathful battle on the river Styx. And so the river Styx is in a lot of mythologies. It's pretty much it's a river in the Greek underworld. Pretty much, it's just, they say it's the boundary between the world of the living and the world in the underworld. It's often depicted as a river that souls must cross to reach Hades. So that's that. So there was a battle in the river Styx. Then 6 was heresy. Heretics are entombed in flaming graves. 7 was violence. It was divided into 3 rings for different types of violence. 8 was fraud, subdivided into 10 ditches for various frauds. And then 9 was treachery, a frozen wasteland for the most treacherous souls. And again, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Dante's Inferno. If there was it's like a series. I think there's 3 books if I'm not uh, in the series. But the devil is like encased in ice at the very bottom. Yeah, again, don't know why I had to read it. You read everything else. You read everything but the Bible in school. Is it maybe because of the time period it was written in? I'm not sure. I don't even remember. Let me see. This is the 14th century. So I'm really not sure. I guess because they called it a literary masterpiece is why we had to read it. It was followed by the Divine Comedy, and then the Purgatorio, and then Paradiso, like paradise. Okay, so there's 4 books in the series. But yeah, so I'm not sure. Humans claim to know so much when we are really dumb and don't have a clue in reality, but we have tons of theories we can't confirm. Yeah. And what's crazy about that is that they try to tell us, oh, you have a God of the gaps argument, but yet they're never able to tie down any facts. It's always, well, millions of years in the future or millions of years in the past. It's like you couldn't test that. You have no way of knowing millions of years in the past. Why are you trying to, again, but time and chance. Just like evolution bases itself off of time and chance. If we have so much time, then maybe this could happen, maybe that could happen. But again, there's no real evidence of it. And I'm actually really glad that they're starting to pick apart this whole evolutionary claim that we come from apes. It's starting to come back up in the science circles. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. And you got a lot of scientists that are, really questioning it. And when I saw somebody talking about it the other day, I was like, you know what? Let me look this back up. I got a little bit of information that I found pretty interesting, to say the least. But I always find interesting things. They say that we came from primates, which is, I guess, like a species of ape. But every time you look at, I'm just going to make this short. It's a never ending primate that we came from. If you look up what's the first primate that we came from, there's no definitive answer. I had like 8+ windows open the other day. Like, okay, they gave me one name. They gave me Australopithecus. I was like, okay, well, what came before? Because I was trying to get to the point where they say that we have a common ancestor. So there has to be at one point that the ancestry started, right? So what is that one point? Because at first they claimed it was goo. I don't really see that too much anymore. I've even heard one time it was rocks. How the hell, sorry for my language. How the heck are we going to come from rocks? They don't even breathe. And so I was like, okay, they said, okay, well, we came from primates. Primates was the very first ancestor. Okay. So what came before that? And so anyways, long story short, I went through a long, endless line of different species of primates, but never coming to the answer of what the very, very first ancestor was. there's no answer for that. So again, just like the Bible says, you know, they're constantly learning but never coming to the answer. And then they think that you're stupid because you believe that we came from Adam and Eve, who were actual people. A man and a woman made more men and women. No, that's not logical to you. It's more logical to you that we came from primates. Okay, okay. I mean, okay. I don't know what else to say about that. And one guy was, and I guess what got me on it, because one guy was pretty much mocking, saying, "Oh, you know, y'all claim that we came from Adam and Eve and incest and things like that." Okay, but wouldn't the very first, even if it was a female and a male ape, wouldn't that still be incest at the very first point of it all? Or am I tripping? I must be tripping. I must be tripping. You said that's because we aren't primates. I am not very studious on the theory of evolution, but I'm of the belief that knowledge is given. Yeah, when people say, you know, we're animals, I'm like, oh, I'm not an animal. Maybe your ancestors were animals, but not me. God said I came from a man and a woman, and that everything was created after its kind. He said definitely some of these people are the products of incest, the ones with the lazy eyes. Stick out. Y'all crazy. You're clowning. No, but I was looking back into it, and I might, because I've done a video on evolution. But I was like, let me look back into this a little bit. You said people forget evolution is a theory. It's spoken of as fact. Yeah, I know it. I know. And it's right in the name, evolutionary theory. And I don't know why they do it. But I was looking back into Darwin, right? And one of his titles was a naturalist. And obviously the word, not to say obviously, but the word natural is in the Bible. And so I wanted to look it up a little bit. And so this is what I found, right? So a naturalist is the systematic study of natural objects or organisms, quote unquote, the elements of the physical world. Okay. But when I went to look at what natural means in the Bible, I went to 1 Corinthians 2:14. It says, but the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. So then I was like, okay, well, what does the word natural mean? Do y'all want to see this on the screen? I can show it to you on the screen, so I'm not just talking. Let me show y'all. Because I always thought that when we said natural, we were talking about the physical world. But again, this definition kind of just threw me off a little bit. Hold on, let me bring this up for you. Okay. So this is the word natural. It's the word psychikos. Psychikos. It means of or belonging to breath, having the nature and characteristics of the breath. One being the spirit, the breath of the spirit. 2 being the spirit of God, imparting life and wisdom. And 3 being the spirit of man, the soul. Of course, our spirit is what animates us, making us a living soul. And we're breathing the breath of life, which is the spirit. That which has breath, the primitive root is to pant. So the psyche, again, the breath, all that good stuff. And then if you go all the way to the primitive root, psycho, to breathe, blow, cool by blowing. Breath also means, or the natural also means to pant, to bring forth, and to bear. What are the things governed by the breath? Because the very first definition was things that belong to the breath. So what does the breath govern? It's the sensuous nature with its subjection to appetite and passion. So again, this also coincides with the will as well. Our will is what drives us, our emotions, our appetite, our passions. And the only way that we have a will is if you're breathing, because again, the breath is our mind. It's what animates us. It's the actual breath that we breathe. Okay, and then you have nature, which is the nature of things, the force, the laws, the order of nature, as opposed to what has been produced by the art of man. And so I'm like, okay, so if this is, I think that we've gotten this whole naturalist, quote unquote, naturalist thing all wrong. Because none of the evolution and none of what he teaches has anything to do with the laws and the order of nature. Because again, we're told in the very beginning of Genesis that everything reproduces after its kind. Look, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good. So we don't see lemon trees producing oranges. We see lemon trees producing lemon trees. We don't see, and it obviously goes on further because it talks about the winged fowl, and later on it says, the owls produce the owls, the ravens produce the ravens. So we don't see what evolutionary biology teaches us. But anyway, I'll get into that. I think I'm gonna have to do a part 2 of the first video, because they've been hoodwinked. I'm not gonna say we, because like I said, I've never believed that stuff, but they've been hoodwinked. Yeah, I always thought the breath meant the physical, and it actually belongs to the breath. When it comes to evolution, you can't point to a single organism that changes into something else completely. Yeah. And they've never seen it either. So I'm pretty sure Darwin was a Freemason, which would explain where he got his ideas from. Um, I don't know if he was a Freemason. I'll definitely have to look that up. But when I did the video, atomism and Baal, it's one of my very first videos. It's probably like 4 or something like that. It's deep. I'll just say that. It goes, even with the whole atoms, them believing that we came from atoms and all that kind of stuff, it's really deep. And it actually goes back to the mystery schools of Babylon. And what's crazy is that evolution wasn't even the first. Darwin wasn't even the first person to bring it up. There was many more people before him. He was just the one that made it popular. But you know what's a very, very good series if you take a look at it? And it's pretty much the animals that defy evolution. Because again, so natural selection, I'll just go over some more points. So evolutionary biology, one of the points is natural selection, which is survival and reproduction of individuals. The key mechanism is the changes in inheritable traits of a population of species over time. It involves 3 processes: inheritance and transmission of heritable maternal from parent to offspring, its development in offspring, variation now called the Baldwin effect, which describes the agency, imitation, and learned behavior can pioneer evolutionary change in the struggle for existence and competition between organisms. So pretty much what this series talks about is how certain animals, okay, for instance, the bombardier beetle. Have you ever heard of the bombardier beetle? Bombardier beetle. Let me put him on the screen. He's a cute little guy. I'm just playing. He's not cute. I mean, it depends on what you. So this is the bombardier beetle. Okay. So the bombardier beetle has an explosion chamber in his butt. So when he is under threat, he can actually shoot an explosion out. And it hits his predators in the face, and then he's able to escape. So like it says, it's a mixture of hydrogen peroxide. How the heck hydrogen peroxide gets in him? Who knows? Because then we would have to assume that hydrogen peroxide, I can go down. Listen, let me stop. But anyway, sphincter muscle, he can push it out, boom, blast. Explosive gas, 212 Fahrenheit. So the idea here is that if you have a bombardier beetle and he's blasting this explosion out his backside, and I don't even know if they blow up after that, to be honest. Do bombardier beetles die? Do bombardier beetles die after they explode? Okay, so I don't think they do. They're able to live after they do this. So they're not like bees when they sting you, they die. So anyways, the idea is how would they know to develop this mechanism? Again, where the heck do they get this hydrogen peroxide into their bodies? How does it create this sphincter? There would be no way for this bombardier beetle to, even if he dies, obviously he doesn't come back. So it's not like he's telling the next beetle, oh, hey, dude, if you develop this mechanism in your body, you won't die. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry if I'm trying to be coherent in the foolishness, and it's hard to even convey it because it's foolishness. There will be no way to pass this defense mechanism down because the bombardier beetles before you are dead. And the next bombardier beetle was never alive to know what it needed to survive. So how could that, it makes more sense that the bombardier beetle was created just like he is. Yeah, he definitely has weaponized farts. Another good animal is the giraffe. Did y'all know that because of the giraffe's neck is so long, right? When he bends down to drink water, the blood goes rushing to the head. And because of the length of the neck and how far the blood has to travel, if that giraffe didn't have the puffy brain that it had, or the puffy, it's like this puffy, I don't know what to call it. Sorry, y'all. I don't know if it's his brain. I don't think it's his brain. Giraffe. Anyways, it's like this big barrier in the top of his head, so that when the blood rushes down, it hits this puffy thing, and so it doesn't burst through his brain. I know I described that so crazy, but go look it up. Go look it up. He's got this little puffy thing that keeps the blood from hitting his brain and bursting out the top. Again, how in the heck could the next giraffe know that that's what he needed in order to stay alive when he bent down to take a drink of water? Anyway, the video's on YouTube, y'all. Go look it up. It talks about the woodpecker, all kinds of animals. I thought the same thing. I kept asking, if we're so-called apes, how come the apes aren't birthing humans or vice versa? Yeah. And that's probably elementary questioning, but still, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And they keep showing you all of these different species of primate that we supposedly derived from. And it's like, okay. I never believed it. I just needed to pass the class. More and more scientists today are making the argument for intelligent design. Yep. Yeah, it's all coming to a head. It's all coming to a head. Because they know it doesn't make sense. And I posed this question on X not too long ago, but I was like, what else besides a brain? Sorry, not a brain. I'm sorry. A mind. What else besides a mind can create, can think, and devise a plan? Because the only way that you can invent something is by doing that. But they want us to believe that everything came about through mindless, and they make sure they put that into the sentence, mindless processes. It's like, well, then how the hell can you create something then if it's mindless? You need a mind to create. You need a mind to invent. And what does spirit mean? Number one, it means breath. It means mind. Obviously, it means spirit, and it means wind. So they know that they cannot affirm that a mind created this whole thing, because they know that the only thing that it points back to is God. And they make it seem like, oh, you just got the gap. And it's not God of the gaps. It's common sense. It's logic. Matter of fact, how do you get logic without a mind? Like, there's just a lot of things that they want us to believe that I can't get in touch with. I've seen lectures where scientists make the argument for intelligent design using snowflakes. Oh yeah, because yep, no two snowflakes are the same and they aren't randomly produced. Yep. Pretty cool stuff. And you saw what the guy, oh no, y'all, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. So when I put together the video about the WEF guy, I have found this video that they apparently banned. And obviously I couldn't play it for you guys on YouTube, but I put it in the Patreon video. So the guy was pretty much like, we're coming up with our own intelligent design. And it's not going to be the intelligent design of some, he pretty much was like, he said God, but he obviously described him a different way. It's not going to be the intelligent design of God. It's going to be our intelligent design. I was like, oh, here y'all go. See, y'all think that y'all are God. That's what y'all think. Takes more effort to believe evolution than to admit that we're created. I know. I just don't. And even still, and I told this guy the other day on X as well, because he was trying to talk against, he was really trying to hype up evolution. And that's kind of how I got into this whole naturalist thing. Like, evolution doesn't explain the origin of everything. It's literally about the origin of species. It's talking about how different species got here. It's not talking about the beginning of everything. And again, if you have, let's just say you have a little tiny bird. He's the first bird, him and his girl are the first bird, and they have all the DNA within them of they're an owl, because there's obviously different types of birds. So they're an owl. So all the different characteristics of an owl are within them. And then those mama and daddy owl reproduce, and they reproduce themselves with certain characteristics. Well, y'all know biology. Why am I going through this? We know how biology works. We know about recessive and dominant genes, and sometimes it grabs blue eyes, sometimes it grabs brown eyes. I was about to go down a hole. Sorry, y'all. I was about to go down a hole. If you know simple math, you know impossible statistics and probabilities. It would be for all life to randomly manifest. Even small critters are specifically designed, and that's clear at the micro. Yeah, exactly. There's no way. And then another thing that they claim is that mutation. They claim that all species came about through mutation. But guess what? Mutation is an error during replication. It's an error during meiosis or mitosis, or a damage to the DNA. It may result from substitution, insertion, or deletion of segments of DNA. Mutation is the ultimate source of all genetic variation. This is what they claim, providing raw material on which evolutionary forces such as natural selection can act. So they want us to believe that the loss of information is what created more information. So we all are damaged DNA. Like we're all here from damaged DNA, is what they want us to believe. Makes no sense. Then the genetic drift, change in the frequency of an existing genome variant in a population due to chance. Again, here's that time and chance again. And then gene flow, transfer of genetic material from one population to another. And again, you got a problem. You got a problem. I remember arguing with this guy about big cats. And he was like, you Christians really do. You Christians really do have information. Yeah, we've been trying to tell you. We're not the stupid ones. There are species of big cat that cannot even reproduce. So if we all came from one common ancestor, like there should be absolutely no problem. They should have all the genetic material that they need in order to reproduce with each other, but they do not. So somebody's lying. The world is compromised. People are intentionally misled to believe in the Creator, to not believe in the Creator. Remember, in the desert, Satan tempted Jesus, saying, if he bowed to him, he would give him all the kingdoms of the world. Yeah, and that's exactly what they've done. You're right, and that's what they've done. They've given themselves over, and he's given them the kingdoms of science and technology and medicine and all kinds of things, and they're absolutely there to mislead. And the Bible says my people perish for a lack of knowledge. So we can't be the ones perishing. Not for lack of knowledge anyway. We're not going to perish for lack of knowledge. We really are not the stupid ones. Nope. But we definitely have stupid people representing us. Absolutely. 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 And it started a long time ago. It started a long time ago, and unfortunately, the people, and I hate to say, I don't blame them because it's their fault. Israel did not take heed, and I'm talking about the children of Israel, did not take heed to the warnings that God gave them about the king. And ever since then, we've been in this situation where we have, like you said, these stupid people representing us. And these kings became the pharaohs. And the pharaohs became like the Roman Senate and the Caesars. Because remember, Caesar is a title. And they believed they were gifted to be gods by the gods. They were imbued with this power to rule over us. And we can see by the fruits of what the world has become, what those spirits represented. They represented war and destruction and death and famine and poverty and everything else. So, but we can't be ashamed for, again, following the spirit of righteousness, trying to, the spirit of truth. But anyways, y'all, I had a great, great time this evening. Thank you for letting me tell my testimony in the very beginning. I hope that it helps somebody. Absolutely hope it helps somebody. And I hope you guys stay empowered. Hope you stay prayed up. Oh yeah, I missed it. Yeah, just a little bit. I kind of just covered what the differences were between them. Not too much. Kind of just ranted about what each project was. Absolutely. And the differences of them. Not too heavy. Not too heavy. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the support on YouTube, on the Patreon. Again, y'all stay prayed up. I can't say that enough. I cannot say that enough. Just walk circumspectly. Keep your eyes open. Don't be in fear. Don't be in fear. But just pay attention, you know? Watch your surroundings. Don't have your back to, you know, to the wrong things, because these people are getting crazier and crazier, y'all. Crazier and crazier. Yes, you definitely have a blessed night. I will see you guys later. I'll be working on another video for you. Hopefully, I'll have it out this week. And I'll continue to drop these shorts and continue to post my extra thoughts on the Patreon. So yeah. Brian, Mr. Davis, how you doing this evening, sir? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I love seeing old heads. I love seeing new heads. Again, I'm wishing the best for you guys. I will see you all soon. Yeah. Have a good night, y'all. I'm getting off here. Bye. Topic: homeless people have been disappearing. Okay. We'll definitely talk about it. We'll talk about that soon. Because actually, I'll say this last thing. I noticed in part of the agenda, right, is so that there's no poverty. And I'm like, how are you going to make that happen? And what I've seen, obviously, even in my own city, homeless that were certain places, they're not there no more. But yeah, we'll talk about that. I will see y'all soon, though. Have a good night.